Just trying to make out whether I can see her there in the background. Here's another look through at the start list. Ellie Wallace, one to watch as well, underneath 16 minutes this season. A couple of times on the road, 15:42 and 15:47 on the track. Alexandra Millard as well. Hard to beat tonight, 15:27, a new lifetime best indoors. And she backed that up with a 15:29 outdoors in Karlsruhe. She could perhaps come into this as the race favourite. She's backed that up well with a 8:52 over 3K for a personal best. Almi Narurka going from strength to strength as well. We kind of saw that coming in the cross-country season, where she performed so well at Bucks and picked up a bronze there. And then she's just got stronger and stronger through the indoors and onto this outdoor season as well. Just a quick look at some of the women down there. Gemma Kersey, great to see her over 5,000. It was fun to see her try the steeplechase, Matt. We talked about athletes that try it and maybe don't give it as long as they need to. I'd say fair credit to Gemma Kersey. She really did try steeplechase. She gave it a good couple of years, then just said, it really isn't for me, and she's back on the track. But turning her focus from the 15 she did as a junior up into the 5K. She goes there on the outside. Carolina Lozano of Argentina, one of the international athletes we've got. She's just outside 16 minutes as a lifetime best.
Just behind that.
Simone Ferez of Brazil in her national kit. Just towards the inside of the race as well. You can see a win from her teammate in the women's 800 metres earlier. Apologies, the coverage for that race wasn't great, but Flavia Marida de Lima did take the win. We've got wave lights set in this race. Alongside the pacemaker Megan Davis, who went in the 1500 metres earlier, but the pace being set at 73s, 75, 76 and 78. So there'll be 4 lights down there. So 15:12.5, that is the time for the lead lights. That's super quick. I mean, I can only imagine perhaps Alex Millard has requested that, maybe one of the foreign athletes that we've got down here. And maybe the 15:37, the second set of lights, that could be very applicable to Ines Fitzgerald, but she's put herself at the front of the race at the moment. Megan Davis out in the front pacemaking, Ines Fitzgerald, and then Alex Millard. Fitzgerald loves to go out hard. She loves to set her stall out. And Matt, when you talk about trying to be a great cross-country runner and transition to track, that race tactic, it can be deadly on the cross, but I think it's got less of a success rate on the track for me.
Deadly on the cross and suicidal on the track often, isn't it? But yeah, she set off with real intent here at the Watford Grand Prix. She's right in behind Megan Davies. Yeah, we were sort of whispering amongst ourselves, weren't we? Who's asked for 73s? Who's asked for 15:10, 15:15 tempo? And the only person we could think of was Millard. Perhaps training's gone well for her, but with that 15:27 lifetime best in Boston, can she back it up? Well, she did back it up in Karlsruhe. Those who say that Boston is well, a little bit of a cheap track or something, or a cheap PB, as some might refer to it. But she's there, she's on the red lights, and she's looking quite smooth at the moment. Ellie Wallace, who's having a fantastic season, I must say, 15:42 at podium earlier in the year, 15:47 over in France as well. She has gone from strength to strength this season, from sort of being someone who's a low 16-minute 5,000 runner, and then 12 months later, she's attacking sort of 15:45, 15:30 even. So Hannah, already this race is heavily split up, unlike that men's race.
It is. They've got Ines Fitzgerald pushing at the front, the European junior cross-country champion. And Alexandra Millard has pushed herself up into second place at the moment. Ellie Wallace running well in third, but in danger of being isolated. Tia Wilson is in fourth place at the moment. She was sixth at the World Universities and picked up a team gold. She was also second at Bucks behind Neve Britton Hubbard the other day. So Tia Wilson, she's not that experienced over 5K, but she's very, very good. Broke 16 for the first time at the Trondheim Games in Norway the other day. So she's sort of plugging away on those red lights there, slightly isolated, ready to strike if Ellie Wallace falters at all. But there's some lovely groups gathering here, and they can hopefully run together there. This is what I'm talking about with the wave lights. Once you've got a wave light for people to target, they're just sitting right on it. Hannah Irwin just leading the pack, trying to get back towards Tia Wilson. Megan Davis doing a fantastic pacing job here at the front. First kilometre, 3:03. So that's bang on 15:15 pace.
Wow, yeah, you mentioned, you know, when you see a wave like people, it's easy for them just to get on it and sit on it, but sometimes that can be a little bit costly. You don't key into your effort, into your kind of internal clock as much, and you just sit on the wave like, because that's the easy thing to do, but often it can just be, it might be a little too fast, it might be a little too slow. So as much as they do aid athletes, sometimes I think they can be at a little bit of a detriment of them. But Ines Fitzgerald moving very well up at the front, and this, look, Hannah, we saw her run low 15s. That would be staggering as an under 20 athlete. We'll have to start getting those all-time records out, won't we? Especially those BMC records here at Watford, those track records as well. How far can Megan Davies go? And more importantly, I mean, Fitzgerald, she's right on Davies' tail at this stage in the race. She's excited, but will the experience of Millard, will that come to the fore a little bit later on, sort of that 4 kilometre marker? I suspect we will see Millard sort of get back on terms with Fitzgerald.
It makes me nervous here, you know, 3:03 first K. Fitzgerald, she's done at 9:08 this season over 3K at Loughborough International. And that wasn't that long ago. You're kind of thinking, I might be wrong, I might think she can maintain that pace for another 2 kilometres. But it's the same with Ellie Wallace as well. She's been so brave here, and I totally applaud that. I think Ellie Wallace has made a bit of a decision here in the last sort of 600 metres or so, just to back off that, as has Alexandra Millard. I mean, she's run 8:52 recently, so she has got a right to kind of think, I can click off 3:03 kilometres. But hey, who's to put limits on someone like Ines Fitzgerald? She clearly doesn't put limits on them herself. The way she runs is so brave. Remember in the European Championships in Italy 2 times ago, where she went off in her normal style, her normal front running style, and she was vulnerable in the closing stages and finished off the podium. But she came back in Brussels, employed a similar tactic, but with just a bit more reserve, and ran away with that European under-20 title. So Ines Fitzgerald, alongside Gavin Pavey, her long-time coach, she does know what she's doing, and if she can keep going at low 3-minute kilometres, what a run that could be for Ines Fitzgerald.
You did right. I mean, the all-time list, Zola Budd, of course, 14:48. She ran phenomenal running, but behind her, quite a way back, Charlotte Purdue, 15:23, which is still her lifetime best today, believe it or not. The marathoner who's off to Tokyo over the 26.2 mile distance. Emilia Grecia, another name who we know how successful she was, 15:34. So Ines Fitzgerald would soar all but to the top of these UK all-time rankings if she was to keep this pace going. And you know what, Megan Davies doing a phenomenal job. We've mentioned it a few times, but it looks like this might be the lap she pulls out, or is she continuing to keep going here? Because she's another one who her lifetime best over 3,000 is only around about that 9:08 mark. I think she ran that R mark.
So pretty steady pace there. I think it was around about 6:06, which would be another 3:03 through 2 kilometres. So Ines Fitzgerald has been totally metronomic so far. Tia Wilson just coming under pressure, I think, there from that mini chase pack behind her. It was Philly Bowden, I think, perhaps coming through just to get on terms of Tia Wilson. I'm quite sure these athletes running well here. Gemma Kersey, Elsa Palmer, Holly Weedle working well there together, but Ines Fitzgerald not looking vulnerable at all. Alex Millard, she's on those red lights, which I think are 15:37, so she has gone faster than that. So she's just having the confidence to go slightly ahead of those red lights. And Alex Millard here, she's got a choice. You talk, Matt, about getting kind of lured into a pace that isn't right, that is out of your comfort zone. But Millard now, she's got a choice. If she can stick to her task for another 2 laps and perhaps get on terms with Fitzgerald and have the chance to work with the under-20 athlete for the last couple of kilometres, surely that's going to be an easier night out for her than running isolated like Ellie Wallace is having to do right now.
Absolutely, and you know what? Her just drifting towards Ines Fitzgerald is a dagger to Ellie Wallace. It really is, because she was just kind of in contention. She was just on terms with Millard. She could at least key off her, but now that gap's too big. And you look where Wallace is, and you look Philly Bowden, the strength of her starting to move things along that chase pack with Hannah Irwin and Sarah Astin in as well. They are just about to, I guess, Ellie Wallace in a lap or so's time, and there's going to be 5 of them to key off for this front two. And for me now, Millard is on terms with Ines Fitzgerald. She has the flexibility to almost torment her over these next couple laps, and she's super experienced. I've never seen Millard blow up in a race, Hannah. She is an athlete who is always keys into just the right effort at the right time. She'll get faster throughout the race, she's smooth as possible. Some athletes just have that instinct, don't they? And Millard is one. I don't think I've ever seen her actually run a bad race.
No, Millard, and she's been like that for a couple of years, Matt. I think she works fantastic well with Bill Foster and that group at Loughborough University. But who can forget Millard being a part of that World Cross Country bronze medal winning team in Serbia in the mixed relay? That was the only non-African medal at the whole World Cross Country Championships. That is phenomenal, and that's come in the middle of a wonderful 12 months for Alexandra Millard as she pulls up alongside Ines Fitzgerald. And Millard, she's actually committed to going to Boston University next year to compete in the NCAA system, so that's going to be a wonderful platform for her to develop just a little bit more. Sarah Astin just drifting away from that pack. Philippa Bowden pushing super hard at the front, is breaking that field apart somewhat. And that big pack all running really well together just behind as well. Hopefully they can stick together. And these athletes here that have totally committed to the blue light, Gemma Kersey, Elsa Palmer, Holly Weedle, have worked together for almost the entirety of the race.
Yeah, that's it. You mentioned Millard going to Boston University. I wonder if that fast track had anything to do with that decision. Hey, access to training on it every day of the week. I'm sure it didn't. I'm sure they've got a very good program there. But, well, it's now the time. Millard has just had enough, and she looks to just squeeze things on there through 3,000 metres at this point. Fitzgerald, she won't go down easy, though, will she? She won't go down without a fight. She's a very gutsy runner. Her track debut over the 5,000. She's doing it the hard way out here tonight. And as you mentioned, can she just use Millard now? This is something that Fitzgerald is not that used to doing. She's not comfortable running with people, running behind people, and almost having that competition. She likes to be in her own zone, in her own rhythm. And that will have to change going forward, because she's going to need to learn to kind of key off people, running behind. She's got a very long stride as well, hasn't she? As we just pan a little bit further back, it's Rebecca Johnson coming through as well, and that chase pack. We've got Almina Rurka in there, Charlotte Dannatt, and the Brazilian as well. And like you said, those blue lights, those women keying off.
It's a really big push from Philippa Bowden in third place, I think, at the moment. She's there with Tia Wilson. So Tia Wilson has kind of woken back up in this 4th kilometre, as she did at Bucks, to be fair. I think that's where she did some of her strongest running. But Tia Wilson, Philippa Bowden working hard with Hannah Irwin, and a good rally, I think, from Ellie Wallace in that pack that are chasing for third place. €200 up for grabs for third place, 500 and then 300 for first and second. And you're right, Matt, you said Ines Fitzgerald wouldn't give up, she wouldn't give in. There is a very slight increase in this lead for Alexandra Millard as every 200 metres goes past, but it's really small. It's not a massive kind of pull away here by Alex Millard. And we've got another lap or so to go until the 4K split. They look like they're running pretty decent pace at the moment, just falling off those red lights that are at 15:37. You can see Bill Foster getting the pictures for his social media. He does love a big post. There's so many athletes competing. He has to get the pictures of all of them. But there Millard goes, just lengthening that gap from 10 metres to 15 metres to 20 to 30. Millard hits 3 laps to go, and she looks like she's trying to lift her pace. I think around about 9:12 or so through 3 kilometres, so they slowed ever so slightly. This is going to be the 4-kilometre split coming up on the back straight. But when we look towards the British Championships and the calibre of race we might have there, and we're talking about athletes trying to make finals, and we're talking about the 8s and the 15s, and Alexandra Millard, she wants to go to that Olympic trials, and surely she's got to be trying to use that experience of a senior team selection championship to learn everything she can, so she comes back, whether it be for Tokyo next year or further down the line, to try and make a senior team. As we pass through 4 kilometres there, around about, I think she is on for around about 15, 25, 12, 20 through 4 kilometres is 15:20. So that would be some great running from Alexandra Millard. She is operating around about 15.5 minute pace. If she can lift in the last couple of laps, maybe the chance for a personal best is what's got Alexandra Millard rolling here in the last couple of laps. And look at Philly Bowden. She tried to make the Olympic team in the marathon. She came agonisingly close. She's been very open on social media. She quit her job. She went all in and has run very well this year over marathon. But she came back. Her first race was nearly a PB over 1,500 metres at Sport City. And Philly Bowden is on the charge. She's in 3rd place at the moment. She's hunting down the European cross-country champion, Ines Fitzgerald. Tia Wilson moving well, and Hannah Irwin trying to hold on to Bowden as Bowden forges forward. Millard on her penultimate lap down the back straight. She looks absolutely full of running. Could she possibly be closing in on those blue and green lights?
Yeah, Fitzgerald looks like she's going to get swamped up, doesn't she? The under-20 athlete discovering 5,000 metres on the track. What damage it can do. We mentioned the pace she went off at was perhaps a little bit suicidal. But Philly Bowden is working her way through this field. And if anything, that gap to Millard may well just be a little bit. But Millard's going to come around for that bell lap in just a moment's time. And she's going to be close. I think you're right, Hannah, to that 50-30. She's right on PB territory. And to run a PB, running the last, 2,500 metres, 2,000 metres, completely solo on your own out front. That is when you need company. The atmosphere down here at Watford tonight seems terrific. We can hear them over on the back straight making a lot of noise. They'll be round this bottom bend, that's for sure. But Millard having an incredible race alongside Philly Bowden as well. 14:20 at the bell, Hannah. They need a big last lap. She needs a very, very big last lap for a PB, but even a 15:30 here would be mega.
Millard has run a 1,500 metre personal PB recently at 4:10 or so, I think, so she has got the leg speed. But Bowden is on the charge. Philly Bowden is just gaining momentum and speed with every 100 metres that goes past. You can hear the cheers. I think the crowd think there could be something special on here in the last 200 metres. Lloyd Shepherd-Brown almost caused an upset over Niall Murphy just now in the B race. But Millard, she's on paper, she is so much faster over 1,500 metres, that 4:10 versus the 4:20 of Bowden. But we all know the strength is sometimes the better kick, and Bowden is going to win the A race in the women's 5,000 metres here. I mentioned that disappointment at failing at her target to make Paris over the marathon. She bounced back with a personal best at Highgate, nearly a 1,500 metre personal best in Sport City last week. And here she is taking the win over 5,000 metres. Her lifetime best, 15:44. I think she's going to beat that. The clock just ticking over 15:30. Bowden takes it, 15:32. What a wonderful run. Millard just holding on to second place ahead of Hannah Irwin and Ines Fitzgerald. That will be quite some run from the under-20 athlete, miles under the standard required for the World Junior Championships. That's a great, great run from Fitzgerald, and she will have learned so much from this opportunity. Big pack, all finishing well here. Charlotte Dannatt closing hard.
That's a representative leading in the next pack. That's a
massive run, I've got to admit, from Fitzgerald. I think she's inside Steph Quall's under 20 mark of 15:47. I want to say she's around about 15:40, Fitzgerald, when she came through. Hannah Irwin running very, very well as well to get right near her lifetime best of what she's already run. So good running from those in behind. That was tough for those ladies. I mean, Philly Bowden. Momentum is everything in this sport. You know, she sensed Millard fading. Millard would have known that Bowden was coming, but do you know what? Millard will be disappointed with that. That was an awfully big gap to give away over that last lap. And to let someone like Philly Bowden attack you and come by like that, Millard being a 1,500 5K specialist, her credentials, she'll be a little bit disappointed. But Bowden, well, she may rethink her marathon plans because she's got a bright future over the 5,000. I'm sure she'll be absolutely delighted with that one.
That was really some run from Philly Bowden. If anyone doesn't follow her on YouTube, if you're into YouTube and that sort of thing, she puts so much content out there. And I just think it's a kind of a snapshot of a modern day athlete. You know, you've got so many men out there, you know, the likes of Callum Elson and Adam Fogg doing a lot on social media, and Philly Bowden really leading the way, I think, on the female side of things for the sort of endurance athletes on making a living out of it. And she's been pretty honest about, like I said, walking away from her job to try and chase his Olympic dreams and keeping that dream alive. by doing a lot of work on social media with that sort of thing, and being so well rewarded today. 15:32. That's lovely. That is really, really good. And yeah, I think that's going to be a very popular result for the endurance community as well.
Absolutely, it looks like we might be hearing from her soon. That men's A race off in, well, 9:27. So that men's A race will be due off basically any minute now. They're running a little bit delayed. Also, if you are, I hope you've got two screens up, because that European Championships 5,000, also 5,000 final, also going to take place around about now as well. I think that was due to go off at 9:30, Hannah. So we got it all going on over the next hour or so.
What are you, Matt, the kind of person of see the result live or don't look at any results and watch it afterwards?
Yeah, that's true. Don't tell me. Don't check the result, Hannah. I will be.
That's what I was just going to say. I was like, if it's already happened, I might be gutted. I'm tempted to watch on delay. I do hope we're going to have a chance to hear from Philly Bowden, who's just obliterated. 12-second personal best. Oh, does that outdo Ava Lloyd's 6-second personal? Maybe not. I think Ava Lloyd, with her breakthrough 4:12 as a junior to win the A race. I think that's still just about my performance of the day, but for guts there for Philly Bowden, for pacing and effort absolutely right. That was a beautiful piece of 5K running.
Thank you to Harrison, Main and Rosemary Lindbergen for their assistance in commentating and a lot of work behind the scenes as well. So, again, teamwork helps the big work.
Somebody like to take this one for you.
I think it's the best I can get, I think.
Oh, that's someone who's left their calves out on a 5,000 metres, and that's Holly Dixon limping around. I think as much as we say that the shoe technology helps with calves, there's nothing like running a 5K on the track, she says, having never done one.